The Iowa State Fairgrounds aren't as crowded as they usually are, but vendors and staff are getting ready for the busy week to come. And there's potentially more benefits to keeping the grass trimmed.
Right behind me is the new campus safety offices. They used to be located in the basement of the old Capitol Mall, which is still being used, but officers are excited to have this new and updated space right here on the first floor.
Yeah, thanks, David. I actually had to come in because of the rain outside, so I'm live inside the IMU, right across from the Iowa Advanced Technology Laboratory.
Different games have different amount of involvement, so you want to make sure you're aware of your surroundings before you put on the headset. That's right, I'm here in front of the Chauncey Swan parking ramp, where currently it's filled with cars, but tomorrow it will be filled with vendors. You can see the Hinterlanders behind me relaxing, staying cool, and of course, enjoying the music today.
There are only around a dozen specialized explosive detection canines like Yago in the entire state of Iowa. Officer Bernard says that he has been honored to work alongside Yago these past 9 years.
The Iowa State Fairgrounds aren't as crowded as they usually are, but vendors and staff are getting ready for the busy week to come. The Iowa State Fair kicks off August 10th. Entertainment, food, and activities run through the 20th.
It's sort of organized chaos at this point.
There are 64 new foods to try out this year, and more rides, adventures, and events.
Lots of entertainment once you get in the gates here. Some of your old favorites will be here, but then we have some new exciting things as well.
Before next Thursday, concessions, rides, booths, and more are setting up.
Anything from Christian, rock, country, and we actually have a comedian and an electronic violinist this year.
The fair staffs over 1,600 workers. Most positions are filled, besides needing some extra cookie bakers and volunteers.
It's amazing. This is one of our favorite times here, is when the grounds start filling up with all the things that fairgoers get to see and do when they're here.
And on Wednesday, the fair will kick off with its annual parade. It goes from the state capitol down Grand Avenue, starting at 6:15.
We've got a ton of great entries. We're really excited about another wonderful year. I understand the weather's supposed to be decent, so that'll be excellent.
Tom and Janet Lloyd are parade coordinators and have been involved with the fair for over 30 years.
I love seeing the happy faces from the participants as well as the people along the parade route, just having a good time, getting excited for the fair.
Fair officials recommend checking out their website and app to make sure you have all of the details to plan ahead. At the Iowa State Fairgrounds, Ashley Weil, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
The Iowa legislature began their 2023 session earlier this month, and new bills and laws are being proposed. One major piece of legislation this year is Governor Kim Reynolds' school voucher bill. I was in Des Moines last week, and I have more on what this means and why it has become such a controversial debate in the Iowa House and Senate.
Every parent should have a choice of where to send their child, and that should not be limited to families who can afford it.
Governor Kim Reynolds proposed the private school voucher legislation early last week, which sets aside over $7,000 for Iowa students to have a choice between attending public or private schools. However, there is heavy Democratic pushback against this bill.
The fundamental issue of school vouchers concerns me, right? Just even the idea of this concerns me. And let me be clear, it also concerns a majority of Iowans. A majority of Iowans don't want school vouchers.
Many Democrats are against it, saying that private school vouchers should not be where public tax dollars go, along with how it does not truly give parents the choice due to private schools having the ability to decline applications.
Remember that a public school has to take any kid who shows up at their door, and a private school doesn't have to do that. So it really isn't about choice. Parents don't have the choice that they're talking about.
The plan sets aside $7,598 in state funding for private school students' education expenses. But Democrats are also saying that this is another factor that is not truly giving everyone an equal chance.
So saying that we're going to give vouchers out to low-income families first, it sounds good, but how many families are actually going to be able to make a private school decision based on just getting that one handout if they don't have the additional funds available within their family unit?
Despite Democratic pushes to leave more funding in public education, both the House and Senate have strong Republican majorities, making the legislation likely to pass this year.
Never dreamed I'd be getting to this point. This is kind of amazing.
Aaron Barthelme won't settle with being number 2. He says he has about 70,000 wooden advertising pencils. The current Guinness World Record is 24,000 pencils.
Sounds like, well, I can easily beat that.
And tomorrow's the big day because here at the Colfax Historical Society, they're going to be counting all 70,000 of these pencils. And he has every kind of pencil you can think of, from aspirin-filled pencils
Harmless lactose sucrose starch tablets.
to rotary phone pencils
Dial your number that way.
to high school basketball schedule pencils
This is Amboy High School.
and even 100-year-old pencils.
I don't know that you can pick a favorite when you've got 70,000 of something.
But the most special pencils are the ones that come from his hometown.
And it's just neat to see. I love seeing the local businesses, you know. For so many of these places, these pencils are the only place where there's any record of that business still. And I think it's just a neat way to kind of preserve the history.
Eventually, I just heard about the society. I don't know how I heard about it, but I did.
Andrew Westber, president of the American Pencil Collectors Society, will be one of the counters to verify the world record.
So I've been looking forward to this, and I'm really looking forward to going down there and seeing some pencils.
The Collectors Society is a place to meet other pencil collectors and trade duplicates. Aaron expects counting to take at least 12 hours, but he's excited to bring everyone together to show off his own treasured pieces of history.
I love the history that you can find through these little sticks of wood.
While Chloe Cole is speaking inside, protesters are here outside the IMU, spreading messages of support to the transgender community. Protesters started inside with signs and chants, but quickly went outside, blocking the entrances to the Iowa Memorial Union.
If somebody does walk in to hear the speaker, they have to first see how what they're going to see impacts the people in the community that they are either against or trying to learn more about.
Protesters continued sharing signs, chants, and chalking messages of support.
Showing that trans people deserve to be in Iowa, trans people are loved, and Iowa is a mostly conservative place, so I know what it feels like to be a gay person in Iowa, and it sucks sometimes, and they deserve to be shown that people care and people love trans people.
Some also made points to protest against Cole and the Young Americans for Freedom organization.
I can sympathize with the goal of trying to educate people about things like the risks of gender-affirming care. However, her case is relatively rare.
They're just fighting for what they believe and how they feel, and it seems like the people that are having the speaker here tonight, like, they seem like they're actively spreading hate.
Not long before the event ended inside, protesters moved to the crosswalks and began to block cars.
I feel like they should have been inside. They should have been listening. I feel like they're accomplishing nothing really right now. I feel like they're obstructing traffic. They're being kind of useless members of society. I feel like they're just blocking people. They're not being, this is not a democracy. Like you don't get the freedom to block traffic and to screech at people.
Some protesters began having conflicts with the police as officers eventually aided cars in leaving the area.
I mean, the goal of the protest is to let them know we're here, and we let them know we're here. So I think the goal is accomplished, even though it's not over, even though, you know, people are still protesting, we're always going to be protesting. We're going to be protesting forever, it seems like. So until something changes, we're not going to stop protesting.
Meanwhile, inside the IMU, at the lecture and Q&A, Cole shared stories of her experiences and the lack of guidance she received from healthcare providers.
It's very moving. She shared a very emotional, personal story, and I thought it was very, very powerful.
She feels she was pushed to transition and did not receive proper treatments for her mental health and gender dysphoria.
And I feel like the transgender community in general is not getting the help that it needs.
YAF has more plans scheduled for throughout this semester, including a vigil for Israel and hosting speaker Enomi Park.